Mabel never returned. Mabel never came back. The film sells hopping like a clean swap. Your mind goes in, your body waits, and you return like nothing happened. Dr. Sam even shouts that it's nothing like Avatar, which is basically Pixar admitting the tech is messy, rushed, and way too powerful to be casual about. Watch Mabel's first hop into the lifelike robotic beaver. She wakes up in the glade with new instincts, new senses, new limits. And she doesn't just blend in, she overcorrects. She talks too fast. She moves like she's wearing a costume that's half second behind her thoughts. It feels like latency. Now jump to the moment Sam yanks her out of the beaver mid-crisis. Mabel snaps back, but she hesitates. She's not relieved. She looks split. Like part of her is still listening for the pond, still tracking King George's voice, still expecting the world to answer in animal logic. So the theory isn't that Mabel dies. It's darker. Hopping might copy, not move. A version of Mabel could still be running inside the Hopper network, an echo in the machine, while the returned Mabel is the one that got saved. Sure, trauma explains a lot. Adrenaline, identity whiplash, new sensory input. But if hopping can place a mind into a body, why assume it always brings every piece back? The fake mayor. The mayor is a shell. Mayor Jerry Generazzo isn't just a bad guy. He's the signature on permits. He's the face of the highway project. When he speaks, a whole town nods along, and the glade gets erased with a smile. On screen, Jerry is always camera ready. Every line lands like a campaign ad. Even when the animals push back, his panic feels delayed, like the emotion arrives after the sentence. He rarely looks truly surprised. And the strangest detail? The forest obeys his phone. Those sound-emitting trees that drive animals out aren't magic. Jerry controls them like a remote. That's where the theory bites. If humans can pilot lifelike robotic animals, why wouldn't someone pilot a lifelike human? Jerry's too perfect vibe starts to feel like buffering, like an unseen operator is feeding him cues. The smile, the pointing, the polished cadence no matter what's in front of him. And if the mayor is a controlled body, public trust becomes a joystick. Elections become theater. The town votes for a puppet. To be fair, Pixar loves exaggerated politicians. Jerry might just be satire with a shiny suit, but hopping tech exists in this world. So the question isn't could a mayor be fake? It's who's holding the controller. Insects already won. The insects already won. Hoppers makes the animal world feel like a government. King George runs the mammals. There's a fish queen, a reptile monarch, and when the animal council meets in that massive dam, it's basically an Avengers assemble. Except everyone has a crown. Then the insects show up. They don't act like small creatures. They act like a network. Their queen speaks in strategy, not rage. Their prince, Titus, plays loud and reckless, but he's surrounded by workers who move in sync. It's organization, not instinct. That's why fans read the insect threat as infiltration, not war. If you're an insect kingdom, you don't win by charging a bulldozer. You win by getting into the systems around it, into the dam, into the glade, into the human tech that's already manipulating animal behavior. Those sound wave trees that only animals can hear. Because once the rules of the pond change, the battle ends without anyone noticing. Animals stop resisting. Leaders start cooperating. Fear becomes routine, and routine is control. Now, the obvious counterpoint, this is a comedy. Titus is meant to be a spoiled brat. The insect politics could just be a joke cranked to 11. But the movie keeps underlining one scary idea. The tiniest species doesn't need power in the open. It only needs power in the cracks. Bodies can be stolen. Hopping sounds like empathy tech. Put your consciousness into a lifelike robotic animal, walk the glade, and finally understand what you're talking to. But the second you can inhabit another body, you've invented possession. The film makes one thing clear. Hopping is repeatable. It isn't a one-time miracle for Mabel. The lab is packed with prototypes, and other humans can go undercover as different animals. That means the system is trainable, scalable, and scalable tech always gets abused. A hopper body is the perfect tool. Enter the dam without being challenged. Plant a rumor, steer a stampede, sabotage a plan. You don't win by fighting, you win by driving. Then there's the darker technical implication. Mabel isn't just inside the beaver, she's tethered, connected, which means someone can pull the plug at the wrong moment, or refuse to pull it, or copy what's on the line. Fans take it one step further. Animal bodies are just the beta. If hopping works, human bodies are the obvious endgame. The clean counterpoint is that the film frames it as communication, not control. Mabel's intent is protection. Still, once possession exists as a feature, someone will use it as a weapon. Not because they're evil, because they can. Pixar's Dark Mononoke. Pixar made a Mononoke, not officially. No one at Pixar says this is Princess Mononoke. But fans keep clocking the same DNA. A sacred-looking glade, a human project that treats it like empty land, and an animal society trying to hold a fragile peace while progress slices straight through it. Even the tone matches. King George's pond rules are funny, until rule number 2 lands. When you gotta eat, eat. Pixar is telling you this world isn't sanitized. Nature is beautiful and brutal at the same time. Here's the darker twist fans add. In Mononoke, orca, the curse is spiritual. In hoppers, the curse is technological. Because hopping isn't just talking to animals. It's humans entering the ecosystem disguised, gathering intel, influencing politics, and calling it empathy. The moment translation exists, management follows. And management is just control with better branding. That's why the highway conflict feels bigger than construction. It's a battle over who gets to define the glade, the animals, or the species that can build devices, rewrite the rules, and still claim they're helping. The counterpoint is fair. Eco-stories share themes. Lots of films do nature versus expansion without borrowing anything. Still, Hoppers keeps pushing one haunting idea. The new curse doesn't come from the forest. It comes from us. Pixar's secret origin. This is Pixar's origin point. Hoppers looks like a one-off premise. College lab, messy prototypes, a girl hopping into a robotic beaver to save a glade. But fans treat it like a first domino story. The moment in Pixar's universe where consciousness stops being tied to a body. Because hopping isn't a gadget, it's a rule change. Once a human mind can be transferred, tethered, and operated inside a machine, you've basically invented portable identity. And Pixar has built entire worlds on that idea before. Objects that feel real, systems that outlive people, technology that learns emotion. So people watch the lab scenes differently. The whiteboards, the schematics, the way Dr. Sam guards the project like it's nuclear material, even her warning, ecological collapse if it falls into the wrong hands, sounds like the kind of line Pixar writes when they want a concept to echo beyond one movie. The theory is simple. Hoppers is the earliest chapter, the prototype era. The first time the studio shows how sentient tech begins, not with magic, but with a transfer. Of course, it could just be design flavor. Pixar loves detailed labs. A schematic can be nothing more than set dressing. But origin stories don't need a crossover to matter. They just need one invention too powerful to stay contained. And hopping is exactly that. Humans are the villains, not in the mustache-twirling way, in the realistic way. The human threat in Hoppers isn't a monster. It's a highway, a mayor smiling through permits, sound wave trees built to push animals out without the town ever seeing blood on the pavement. And the most unsettling part is that the hero uses a human solution too, hopping. Mabel doesn't just listen to animals. She enters their world in a robotic body, learns their politics, and starts influencing outcomes from the inside. Her heart is pure, but the method is unmistakably human. If we can't control nature directly, we'll control the language around it. That's the theory. Translation becomes ownership. Once you can understand animals, you can label them, manage them, relocate them, and call it care. You can turn a living ecosystem into a plan. The film shows how fast power escalates. A single device reshapes the pond's alliances. A single phone reshapes the glade's behavior. Technology doesn't just solve problems. It creates levers. The counterpoint matters. Some humans are trying to help. Dr. Sam fears misuse. Mabel fights for protection, not profit. But Hoppers keep circling one uncomfortable truth. The scariest predator in the glade is the species that thinks it's saving it. Who controls the pond? The pond is controlled. King George introduces pond rules like he's hosting orientation. Rule 1, don't be a stranger. Rule 2, when you gotta eat, eat. It's funny, it's dark, and it instantly turns the pond into a system. A place where everyone knows what's allowed, what's tolerated, and what gets you exiled. And systems don't stay neutral for long. Fans point out how the rules do more than keep peace. They shape behavior. If predators are allowed to hunt as long as it's polite, then violence becomes normal. If community is the highest value, then dissent becomes selfish. If you're told, we're all in this together, you're less likely to ask who's steering. That's why this theory has bite. The pond feels suspiciously stable for a society packed with rivals, which suggests an unseen hand. Tradition as control, rituals as surveillance, taboos as punishment. Maybe it's just King George, a gentle monarch using rules to keep chaos from flooding the dam. Maybe it's the wider animal council, keeping everyone calm until they need them to move. Or maybe the real controller isn't a leader at all. Maybe the pond rules were designed to make the animals predictable, because predictable communities are easy to manage. So if it isn't nature holding this place together, who benefits from the rules never changing?